So I was always looking for items within the fully diversified asset allocation that represented a store of value. So when my now son-in-law and other of his friends began explaining the store of value concepts of Bitcoin, it really resonated with me. Different concepts of mining also resonated with me. So the fact that you mine it, the fact it's a store of value, and then now that the Lightning Network is here, that it represents an opportunity to further be a means of exchange is interesting.
Dubbed Queen of Crypto, Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis is undoubtedly one of the loudest advocates of the cryptocurrency industry in Congress. Since she purchased her first coin in 2013 after being introduced by her son-in-law, Lummis says she has been completely convinced about the many amazing qualities of Bitcoin, the world's leading cryptocurrency by market cap. Last year, the Wyoming senator collaborated with Senator Kirsten Gillibrand on the Responsible Financial Innovation Act, a bipartisan legislation created to clarify regulations around the cryptocurrency industry in the United States. The bill promised to encourage responsible financial innovation, flexibility, transparency, and robust consumer protections while integrating digital assets into existing law. Lummis has also pushed for global Bitcoin adoption, as she believes the leading crypto asset can help individual investors and governments worldwide. The senator herself has substantial crypto investments. According to a 2021 financial disclosure report, Lummis owned between $50,000 and $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. Now she's working with Senator Gillibrand on the next installment of the Responsible Financial Innovation Act, which will be presented before the Senate in a few weeks. She is also attending various crypto-related events where she's learning more about the industry and why it is important that innovation is not stifled in the United States. A few days ago, the Wyoming senator attended the Bitcoin Policy Summit, a one-day, invite-only policy conference exploring Bitcoin as a strategic opportunity for the United States. She told the audience how she got introduced to Bitcoin and the qualities of the asset that drew her attention and kept her as an enthusiast over the years. According to Lummis, the two concepts that interested her most about Bitcoin are the concept of mining and the asset store of value status. Lastly, Lummis is excited about the Lightning Network and the added advantages the Layer 2 network brings to Bitcoin. Before we listen to more clips from the summit, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Now son-in-law introduced me to Bitcoin, and he went over it 3 or 4 times before it began to sink in. But it sank in for a couple of reasons. One is I had been Wyoming's state treasurer, and we were investing monies from mining for oil, gas, and coal in a permanent mineral trust fund, the corpus of which is in violet. The interest, dividends, and realized capital gains were used for the state's legislature on its general fund. So I was investing that money. I was always looking in a diversified asset allocation that included income-producing investments as well as stores of value, because we were taking minerals out of the ground, converting them to cash, and then we wanted to use some of the income now and then have them be in violet for the future. So we wanted to retain some store of value for future generations, even within this investment portfolio. The other concept was the concept of mining, because we had been literally mining coal, oil, gas, bentonite, uranium in different ways. You mine uranium in situ. There is no open pit. It looks like a few little beehives sitting out in a field that are pushing ions towards a well and mining that way. So different concepts of mining also resonated with me. So the fact that you mine it, the fact it's a store of value, and then now that the Lightning Network is here, that it represents an opportunity to further be a means of exchange is interesting. And then I had been in the Congress on the House side for 8 years. Right when I left, I was invited to speak at the Satoshi Roundtable, and the topic was, how does Congress work? And of course, thank goodness the topic wasn't Bitcoin, because I didn't know enough about it then. But that was in 2017. And that was a significant year for Bitcoin because there was a lot about the forks, Bitcoin Cash. It was a controversial meeting. It was in Cancun, so I thought, oh, this will be great. After 8 years in the house, I'll go to a beach. I never went to the beach. I sat in a room like this, with no windows in Cancun for 2 days and just listened to the dialogue, the discussion among people, and I just found it so fascinating that that was my first real orange pill experience, and it has never worn off.
During the summit, Senator Lummis also described some post-FTX collapse events and how the collapse impacted the reception of her bill in the Senate. According to Lummis, the collapse was a result of fraudulent players exploiting the nascent industry. She adds that the collapse took the industry's growth and development in the U.S. back by a few years, but it also proved some things that she had been reiterating. According to the senator, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX founder and chief executive officer, was able to exploit certain cryptocurrencies, including the ones he created himself. However, he could not exploit the Bitcoin network. Lummis says the event, as tragic as it was for affected investors, was somewhat advantageous because it showed the urgent need for suitable regulations for the industry. Here's another clip from the summit.
Well, it's thanks in no small part to you that people understand that this is interesting technology, because that in itself is a huge advance from where we were when I first arrived in the Senate. People didn't even know the difference between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, other digital assets. They thought that maybe Bitcoin was the Kleenex to cryptocurrencies are tissues. They thought they were all synonymous. And so it's taken a long time for people to understand that not all cryptocurrencies are alike. And as we've watched some of the failures in the last year that involved cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin, it has driven that point home. And further, having testimony in Congress from companies like Chainalysis, for those members of the Senate who think Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, Silk Road, criminal activity, drugs, and they kind of go down this mental inventory that they have when they think about it. You are helping dispel that. Chainalysis is helping dispel that. Law enforcement is helping dispel that. And so a lot of progress has been made by you. So I want to come here and personally thank you all for taking the time to educate your members of Congress and their staff. Your willingness to be very open with them about this technology has helped tremendously. This has been a bit of a one step forward and two steps back experience. And there definitely were setbacks, even within the Congress, the Senate, especially on these issues, because it gave voice to some of our harshest critics. I try to remind people that the day after the courts became entrusted with the assets of FTX, there were no Bitcoin to be found, and there was a reason for that. That some of the cryptocurrencies that were created by FTX and some of the other cryptocurrencies that they held were easy targets for the commission of fraud. And so, in some ways, what happened actually helped do two things: validate the need for regulation in this space, validate what Senator Gillibrand and I have been trying to say to people, which is Bitcoin is a commodity. Bitcoin belongs at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Not all other cryptocurrencies are as open source, I'll use that word, as Bitcoin. Consequently, our focus in legislation has very much been on everything but Bitcoin. so that we can provide adequate consumer protection, adequate disclosures, and make people aware that, yes, there are fraudulent cryptocurrencies. And certainly there are companies that use legitimate cryptocurrencies in fraudulent ways.
Lummis is one of the Republican senators that have invested in crypto and are advocating for the industry's development in the United States. Unlike these senators who see the massive opportunities that can be had if the industry is allowed to grow and prosper in the U.S., regulators seem to be only focused on bringing down the industry. Over the past 4 months, we've witnessed one of the most brutal crackdowns on a single industry. Hopefully, with people like Lummis and Gillibrand lending their voices, the industry will not be completely stifled in the U.S. What are your thoughts on Senator Lummis' bill and her views on Bitcoin? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do so, and turn on the notifications bell so you never miss any of our regular uploads. You can also check out our other videos to stay sufficiently updated about important market trends. Thanks for watching.